Hello and welcome out to Endeavour Hills. It's a chilly night out here out in Melbourne Southeast as we get set for a big game in the scheme of things in the NPL Victoria season. It's third place Bentleigh Greens coming out and paying a visit to 11th place Dandenong City, but major ramifications for both sides should they take the 3 points in this one. For the Bentleigh Greens, 3 points would theoretically keep them in the live in that race for the Premier's plate, whilst for Dandenong City, a win tonight would ensure that they will remain in the top tier of Victorian football for another season. My name is Joey Lynch. Thank you for joining me today on the NPL Victoria Facebook and YouTube pages. And I'm joined here tonight by a bit of an expert on southeastern football, Damir Kulash. Damir, thank you for joining me tonight. What are you expecting to see from these two sides?
Pleasure to be here, Joey. I expect a beastly fought-out contest between two sides that are looking to get back onto winning ways. Of course, Bentleigh Greens, we know that they've had a bit of a form slump of late that has culminated in the departure of coach John Gabrielson, and I'm sure they'd be looking to get to 3 points tonight so they can lock in that home finals berth for the final series to come in about a month's time. As for Dandenong City, I mean, it's hard to see them getting relegated at this point, but they don't want to leave anything to chance, so you'd expect them, particularly off the back of a home defeat and in their final home game of the season, to be all guns and blazing really to get the 3 points. So I reckon it'll be quite competitive, quite tight, and I'm going for a two-wood draw between these two teams.
As you mentioned, Damir, there has been changes in the Bentleigh Greens dugout with Frank McGrellis taking charge of the Greens in this game, but as we discovered when we got here tonight, Damir, a change in the Dandenong City dugout as well.
Yeah, there's no Ante Moric on the bench. We are fishing around to find out exactly why that is the case, whether it's just a case of him having to go back home to Sydney, whether he's suspended for tonight's clash, or whether there's something a bit more sinister behind the scenes.
It will be Sasha Ogmanovsky in the dugout for Hajduk here tonight. As the two sides get underway, we'll quickly take you through the starting lineups for the visiting Greens. Number 1, Ryan Scott, the starting goal. In front of him, number 2, Matthew Crooks. Number 5, Jack Webster. Number 8, George Lambateridis. Number 9, Futa Nakamura. Number 10, Tyson Holmes. Number 11, James Sidious. We've been informed that Sidious is the correct pronunciation. If it's not, don't blame us, but we still apologise anyway. Number 14, Marko Jankovic. Number 18, Matt Thurtell. Number 23, Velibor Mitrovic. And number 24, Mario Ilic. For the hosts, in goal, number 1, Damir Salchin, was a very, very, very late scratching last week, making way for Stefan King, but he takes his place in goal tonight. At least we hope he does. We weren't actually listening that closely to the lineup announcements. Number 6, Carl Valeri. Number 7, Cheyenne Alinejad. Number 8, Zach Thompson. Number 11, Brendan Shantalab. Number 12, after scoring his brace last week, Sean Filipovic comes into the starting lineup. Number 14, Jaden Unmack. Number 17, Liam McCormick. Number 25, the veteran, Adrian Leia. Number 36, Stephen Topalovic. And making the start tonight, the former Knight and Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City and Adelaide player, Mate Duganzic, gets a rare start in what is just his 6th time on the team sheet for Dandenong.
Confirmation, Ante Moric has gone on a holiday, so you'd assume that he is in a better place than the cold and chilly southeastern surrounds of Melbourne here.
Perhaps a nice warm condition somewhere on the Mediterranean. Perhaps he will on the Adriatic or the Mediterranean. Not the best with geography. As the ball goes out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Bentleigh. The ball in the hands of Jack Webster.
Jaden!
They're on the right flank of the Greens, and they will eventually try to just work this ball into the middle of the field, but it's cut out, and Dandenong, as they so often want to do, will put the ball forward looking for Shantala, but it will be cut out by the Greens. Working in the middle of the field, Lambateridis gives chase, but it's going to sneak out the back to Ante Moric. And just boot the ball long, looking for Shantala. Headed clear, however. Palovic sends it right back. And this is better from Dandenong City. Duganzic will get the ball out on the left flank. Whip a ball in, looking for Shantala, but it's headed clear by Sidious. And the Greens have a chance to break forward in transition. The ball was intended for Mitrovic.
Adam Babcar's tonight's referee, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes, given the fact that 48 hours ago he was refereeing in the FA Cup fixture between Campbelltown City and Melbourne City, so we'll see if he'll have any weary legs tonight.
In that game, of course, Babcar whistling Scott Jamieson for a penalty, which he has since sworn up and down on Twitter that he didn't actually deserve to be called for, but hopefully a good game tonight from the man in the middle. Well, hopefully that's the last time we say his name, because when you're talking about the referees, it's not really a good thing.
I will say though, he put in quite a good shift on Wednesday night, and you know, if you look at the FA Cup, it might be sort of a springboard onto bigger and better things in the future. So hopefully more A-League games for the Victorian official, because I think that's one thing that has been lacking in the A-League over the last, ever since its formation, is the lack of Victorian referees. I know we have Sean Evans now and also Jonathan Barrero, but there were seasons gone past where you had no Victorians refereeing in the centre of the A-League. So I'm all for more Victorians getting promoted, particularly in the refereeing circles, because I think Victoria, like the players, has some of the best in the country.
There's Unmat breaking forward and getting the ball in. It's coming out to the back post. Shot comes in. To the back of the net early for Dandenong City. A perfect start to life for Hajduk. And Damir, well, Ognanovsky in his first game in charge has his side ahead early.
Yeah, and Sean Filipovic continues his goal-scoring streak, which featured 2 goals in the last 10 minutes last week. He's scored in the opening 10 minutes here, so he is a man on fire, and he has given Dandenong City an early lead here. Great work by Jaden Unmack, the young teenage 18-year-old right back, who put in a perfect delivery for him, and Filipovic did well to control it before unleashing into the bottom right-hand corner that left Ryan Scott with no chance.
Perfect start for Dandenong City. They finished with a wet sail last week and carrying that momentum over to this week, and conversely for Bentleigh, coughed up a lead against Kingston City last week and now finding themselves down 1-0 against another side closer to the foot of the table than its roof, and that ball is cut out there by Thompson. However, the Greens will get another chance to build. Look at the pressure coming in that time from Carl Valeri, and Valeri, the former Victory veteran, wins his side a free kick. You get the feeling Dandenong City, Demir, smell blood.
They do. A number of teams have smelled blood when it comes to playing the Bentleigh Greens in recent weeks, and Dandenong City is hoping to become another one of them, and they made a fantastic start here, putting the visitors under a lot of pressure. You've already seen quite a few defensive mistakes. Jack Webster there playing with an uncharacteristic turnover, as we see an early free kick taken there by Zach Thompson, but Velbod Mitrovic does his defensive duties well, and he's giving it here to Fatel. I'll let you take over, Joel.
Duganzic now gets the ball on the right flank, looking to get something going. Throws the ball back in the middle. Eventually they work the ball across to Valeri, who will just go back to Kapalovic. Thompson on the right flank. Thompson cuts inside, puts in a left-footed ball towards the centre of the area. Shantalak tries to chest it down, but it goes wide. Eventually it's cleared by Sidious. Valeri comes across again, and his tackle finds Shane Olenijad. Back to Valeri.
And it goes!
Forward by Dandenong, but it's cut out by the Greens, and now the Greens, on that occasion, will win themselves a free kick in the middle of the park. Stefan Kapalovic a bit extravagant with his challenge, and then Babcar will insist that the play comes back and that it is taken from where the foul was made.
Yeah, it's always quite interesting to see how players perform against their former clubs, and tonight you'll have 2 in the Dandenong City starting 11 who have quite recent experience with the Bentleigh Greens in terms of Liam McCormick and Stephen Kapalovic, both championship winning players in 2015, as well as Damid Salchin in goals that had a brief stint as Greens shot stopper in 2010.
Good job.
Will be Dandenong City goal kick. Mitrovic unable to keep the ball in. Now the Greens will get back looking to stem the bleeding and stem this early Hajduk momentum.
Sean. The flick on, Sean.
Filipovic waiting on the shoulder of the defence, but instead the ball is played long in the other direction. Chance for Chantalab to give chase. Playing pressure to Webster. And the ball is eventually put out. It will be a Dandenong City throw-in deep there on the left flank. McCormick to the ball in his hands.
Score update from other matches in progress. Oakland Cannons 0, South Melbourne 1.
As we hear across on the broadcast, South Melbourne have taken the lead against the Oakland Cannons. So potentially a big game there in the race for the top 6 here in NPL Victoria, with the Cannons, who have a catch-up game to come against Heidelberg United, going down against South Melbourne.
Well, there's a lot at stake whenever those two teams play, given the extent of their rivalry and so on. But especially tonight, where, as you've alluded to, Joey, there, both are fighting for finals berths. Oakley are in a more advantageous position, but you can never sort of count out South Melbourne, and particularly if they go on a run, they can get some good momentum and potentially grab a finals berth that is looking kind of slim at the moment, but you know, it is still 3 rounds of football to play.
Filipovic on the ball, plays it back. Chantalab tries to stick a foot in, but eventually it will come out to McCormick. Linejet drives it in, but there's nobody there. Scott will collect and look to springboard the Greens out. Mitrovic tries to dance between challenges and eventually wins the free kick. No advantage will be played for Crooks. And instead Jankovic will take it. And switching to play well.
Inside centre, yes, good.
Will be forced to just go back to Scott and reload. Fierce pressure coming in from Dandenong City. Chantalab not giving Scott any moment of peace. Mitrovic now tries to flick the ball on, intended for Crooks, but it's gone out for a Dandenong City throw-in.
Yeah, a lot of good early pressing and penetration from Dandenong City starting 11, who have made a very bright start to the contest and giving Bentleigh a lot of trouble as we see Bertel and Topalovic battle here in the duel.
Forward pressure coming in from Matt Bertel. He has scored the lion's share of the goals for Bentleigh this season. 14 to his name on the NPL Victoria campaign. Sidious gives chase and will collect the ball. Pressured by his opposite number in Chantalab, but he leaves him in his wake. Attempted flick on by Thurtell. Nonetheless, wins his side a throw-in deep out there on the right flank. Comes in from Nakamura under pressure from Alinejad. Now Alinejad with the ball at his feet will feed it to Valeri, and Valeri will look to switch the play across. Filipovic a chance, but he can't do so. That pass from Mitrovic makes him work, however, but he comes away with it. Back over onto the right flank now for the Greens, coming forward. Probing are the Greens, looking for an opening against the stout Bentleigh defence, and that is a chance for them to whip the ball in from the right. It's come back, it was back-heeled back by Lambertaridis, but there was nobody waiting there, but discretion the better part of valour from the Dandenong defence, and they will put it out for a throw-in.
Yeah, George Lambertaridis has added goals to his name this campaign, got a handful under his belt, and he's one player that you don't really want to give too much space or time near goal, because if he can latch onto a loose ball, he has a nice free shot on him and he can definitely punish you. So potential danger signs there for Dandenong City, but I thought they've defended well once more there.
Staying in that attack in right flank for the Greens. This time it will be, well, Leia put the ball out, but it will come back as there is a man down there on the turf. Nothing particularly untoward, however. Trainer not needed. It will be a Bentleigh throw out there on the right flank, trying to rebound from going down very, very early to a Sean Filipovic goal. Filippovic's 4th of the season. Only had one a fortnight ago. Again, just playing the Greens out onto that attacking right flank for Nakamura, but Nakamura marshalled by Alinejad. Nakamura, a mid-season addition for the Bentleigh Greens, was a well-travelled individual through Southeast Asia before landing here in NPL Victoria. 12th time on the team sheet tonight. There's a single goal to his name, so he'll be very keen, Demir, to add a second and get his side back into it.
Yeah, like a lot of the Japanese attackers, he's a very crafty player, as we see a ball drilled in, but Salchin mops it up and he launches a long kick that Jankovic will be forced to deal with. Puta Nakamura, a very technical player, quite gifted on the ball. It's just a case of turning a lot of the good work into productivity in the final third that I think has been lacking, not just from him, but a number of his Bentleigh Greens teammates over the last couple of months, really.
Greens streaming forward, slight tripping over there. Nakamura, who we were just talking about, waiting in the middle. Alinejad will come away with the ball, get it to Topalovic. He's immediately pressed. Good work from the Greens there, and then it is a penalty for the Greens. Excellent pressure from Bentleigh on Topalovic. Forced the big man to turn it over, and then in his haste to get back, he has brought down Nakamura from behind. And it will now be a chance for Matt Thurtell to even things up here early in the first half. Not having much luck by that goals are Dandenong City. They gave away 2 penalties against Heidelberg on that side of the ground last week. Both were dispatched by Adrian Zara into that right side of the goal. But it will now be Matt Thurtell versus Demir Salchin. And just Matt Thurtell wins the battle. Demir Salchin guessed correctly. However, the ball sneaking just under his torso. Wasn't the most powerfully struck penalty in the end, but Demir, they all count. Now it is 1-1 here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex.
Yeah, a case of so close but yet so far for Demir Salchin and Dandenong City, who sort of put themselves under some unwanted pressure by the Greens. Attackers coughed the ball up and gave away a cheap penalty. I think it's quite poor form from them. You'd be quite disappointed if you're Sasha Ognanovsky, but Matt Thurtell, of course, he is one of the best in the business when it comes to not only scoring them from general play but also from the penalty spot, and he got a bit of a reprieve there because I think that Salchin just didn't get the right connection on it. Had he done so, it would have been a save, but we're all square here and it's evenly poised despite Danny's good early start.
Chance for Bentleigh to maybe put something together. It's Thurtell with immediate pressure, plays the ball back to Crooks, but Crooks will cough the ball up. Duganzic play the ball across the field with McCormick back to Alinejad, and just play it back to Topalovic. The ball speculatively lobbed forward in the direction of Jaden Unmake, the teenage right back, sailed over his head, and it will instead be Bentleigh throwing. However, it is immediately picked out by Zach Thompson, who plays it forward for Filippovic. He loses it, however. Thurtell working against Adrian Layer, the crafty veteran Adrian Layer. Will eventually come away the ball to Thompson, Valeri, Layer. And Layer just says, right, that's enough of that. He puts it out for a throw-in. Crooks with the ball in his hands. Mitrovic. Here comes an immediate pressure from Duganzic, loses the ball. Duganzic combines with Filippovic to keep coming forward. Shrugs off the attention from Tyson Holmes. Shantalad tees up an effort, but it's blocked. Topalovic comes steaming through to put Dandenong City back in attack. Alinejad plays it into Valeri. Valeri's got room to advance. Thompson. Deflected cross. Falls to the feet of Filipovic, who has another speculative effort, but this time can't find the back of the net. Was the beneficiary of a couple of deflected crosses last week, one spilling around to him at the back post, the other one rebounding off the crossbar for his 2 goals. This time unable to get a shot off that troubles Ryan Scott. Lambadouridis stealing the ball off Valeri, but Valeri, another one of these crafty veterans, just with a professional foul to hold him up. And he gets himself a yellow card for his troubles, his second of the season. He's a well-travelled veteran, is Carl Valeri, but this is actually his first ever stop with an NPL side, a traditional side. He was at the AAS, then headed overseas, and then found his way back to victory. Thompson inadvertently finding the back of Duganzic, and he'll just get another ball looped over the top. Shantalab not giving chase, and it will be an easy collection for Ryan Scott.
Now Zaki!
2 number 8s going to battle. He's nodded forward by Lambadouridis in the direction of Thurtell, but he can't collect, and it will be Valeri.
Zach!
Crafty turn by Duganzic, and he's got some room to manoeuvre here. Eventually we'll pull the trigger, but it will sail wide of the post here. But increasingly in these early stages, Demir, there's that pocket of space just in front of the Bentleigh Greens defence, which Dandenong City are looking to operate in.
Yeah, and they're looking to go 2-on-1 in a lot of those situations where the overlapping fullbacks in Alinajad and Unmac are trying to catch Bentleigh off guard, particularly given the fact that both Mitrovic and Nakamura aren't the best defensively, and if they're not doing their defensive efforts and tracking back, Dandenong City are looking to profit off that.
Played forward, will come straight back into a fierce midfield contest. Eventually the Greens will look to poke the ball forward. It falls at the feet of Nakamura. And play it back to Tyson Holmes, the 2018 gold medalist. Ball with Nakamura now, maybe looking to win another penalty, but his touch is heavy. And Adrian Lale watches the ball go out for a goal kick. And we were talking earlier, Demir, about how 3 points tonight would ensure Dandenong City stay up in the top tier next season. Of course, at one stage that was looking like an almost impossibility. They were rooted to the bottom of the table, but then they've brought in a number of additions, the likes of Leia, Valeri, Shantalab, Duganzic coming in as well, and steaming up the table. And you'd have to maybe say they probably didn't come cheap, but it's a gamble that paid off for the Hajduk.
Yeah, assuming they stay up, which looks an almost certainty really. It's about what they can build on from here, Dandenong City, because I think that they need to be a bit wiser in the transfer market, which they probably weren't coming into this season, and sort of have a clearer plan as to where they want to go next year in terms of both
half a second earlier,
coaching infrastructure as well here, because you're not sure if this Mordich Obnovsky team will be here next term. If they aren't, who will come in place? What do they want to achieve? Because they are a club that, as I don't think it's any secret that they have the cash to splash, and if they can get things right in the transfer market, bring the right personnel here, both on the playing side of things and coaching side of things, I think sure they can not only be a top 6 side, but maybe even a contender. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in the off-season.
Greens now looking to move forward again. Nakamura. No, not. Ball comes in the back post. Mitrovic just over the post. Over the crossbar, sorry. Was a tempting ball in. Fell at Mitrovic's feet, maybe bouncing just before he could make contact, forcing him to put the ball over the bar. But after going down early, Bentleigh stringing a few attacks together.
Yeah, it's one of those that probably looks a bit easier on video to actually do than it does out on the field there, because I think you can never be too sure about the bounce when it's sort of dropping on the ground with those half volleys. They always tend to rise, so you really need to get the right connection, right amount of power to get it on target, and I think Mitrovic would be searching for a goal tonight. I think it's been a few weeks since he got his last one, so it'll be good to get one tonight, particularly given the fact that he wouldn't have had to travel too far for this game, given the fact that I think he still is Endeavour Hills based.
Local knowledge on display here from the Southeastern expert, as I said. Pretty much an expert on everything NPL Victoria. If I say so myself, are you? Yeah, and everything in general, as he pipes in, is Demir Kulash.
Yes!
Jankovic brings Dandenong City out. They will not Dandenong City. Bentleigh Green's out. Cheeky there from McCormick, poking the ball away. Bentley will look to reload. Working the ball back to Scott.
Yes, Jordan! Yes, Jordan!
Jankovic. The press coming up from Dandenong City, but Bentley able to manoeuvre themselves around it and come forward. Kamira can't control the ball. Leia. In a rare position of attack. This ball to Filipovic, can't be controlled. Mitrovic. Crooks. Mitrovic to Holmes. Comes forward to Nakamura. Nakamura will switch it across to Mitrovic, but it's well cut out by Unmak. Unmak will continue his run. Ball with Zach Thompson. Zach Thompson eventually lobs the ball over, looking for the teenager. It's gone out for a throw-in for Matthew Crooks and the Greens. Illich lets the ball across to Tyson Holmes. And Sidious. Nakamura in front of him. Instead he'll look to go back in. Gunzic has a chance to turn and try to spring something going forward. Round one man. Coleman. Ball over the top looking for Chantalab. Tries for spectacular half-volleyed left-footed effort. In the end skies it. And it will instead be a goal kick to the Greens.
Bring him in here.
Good luck to the Dandenong City Marshals on collecting that ball, because that's gone right down the hill. And with limited lighting down there, I think it's going to be quite the challenge. Might see a kangaroo though.
Maybe even see a Joey.
Hey.
That one is headed back to Ryan Scott by Jack Webster. And when Webster will get it back. But his pass for Holmes is poor, and it's a turnover to Linijat, steaming forward. Gets it across to Thompson, but there's nobody out here on the right for Dandenong City. You could see his frustration. Thompson, hands in the air even when he had the ball, asking Unmak where he was. Linijat will just play it forward, but it's cut up by Jankovic. But then Thompson with a good piece of defending to nip in. Back into the middle to McCormick. Valeri. Thompson on the right flank. Works a 1-2 with Valeri. Whips the ball into the area looking for Shantala, but it's cut out. Holmes will just sky it. McCormick heads it across to Duganzic. Duganzic. Shot is blocked. McCormick will put the ball back to Duganzic. And on the left. Attempted cross is blocked by Sidious.
25 coming in. Carlo.
Sidious, sorry. Regardless, it will instead be Dandenong City ball as Valeri heads across to the bench to consult with Ogniowski. See if we can listen in.
So they're covering the fullbacks, yeah?
You can do what he said to me.
Not clearly.
Secrets of the dugout remain unexposed as Dandenong City work. The corner move comes into the back post. Topalovic tried to rise, head the ball in, but instead he's just given away a free kick, which Scott will take. Mitrovic under pressure from Unmak. Unmak wins the ball. Filipovic forced to go back to Thompson. Larry comes under immediate pressure from Thurtell. Dandenong City forced to go all the way back to Salchin. And Thurtell even coming into pressure Salchin. He's forced to just go route one with it. Unmak eventually wins a free kick. Slightly too enthusiastic challenge from Mario Ilic. Another one of these mid-season's additions for Bentleigh, Mario Ilic. Former Team Wellington player, played in the Club World Cup last year and scored a goal, did Mario Ilic. Crooks loses the ball under the challenge from Thompson, however, fortunately for the Bentleigh defender, it will roll out for a goal kick.
Yeah, Mario Ilic, no surprise, I guess, given the last name, is a Kiwi of Croatian descent. So who knows, maybe in a few months' time he might be, well, actually next month, playing out on this field with the Croatian Cup coming to Dandenong City at the conclusion of the season's NPL campaign, which I believe features teams not only from Australia but also New Zealand and elsewhere around the world.
One of the great events on the Australian footballing calendar is the Croatian Cup. Crooks under pressure from Filipovic. He's forced to just play it back to Scott. Alinejad. Futsal has some space to work in. Thompson now, waiting for options. He's forced to go back to Valeri. It's the second time in quick succession Thompson has been left waiting for an option to present itself. Alinejad plays it forward. Eventually Filipovic will get his hands on the ball. Ganzic's cross is blocked. Will spill back out, however. Ball with Unmak. Unmak dances around one challenge. Thompson. Valeri tries to play the ball over the top for Unmak, and Unmak got his head on it to keep the ball in, but it's gone out to Scott. Now Bentleigh can quickly come forward. Crooks. Jankovic. Jankovic has the room to manoeuvre forward. Under pressure from Chantalab, and then a ungraceful challenge, we'll say, from Chantalab Demir to give away the free kick.
Yeah, he was known for those during his A-League career. I do like to make the comparison that, you know, given the fact that he was a bit of a foul magnet in terms of committing them, he is the A-League's very own version of Kevin Davis, the former Bolton Wanderers striker, who would pretty much every season of the Premier League be, I think, the player who committed the most fouls. I think Brendan Chantalab wouldn't have been too far away in such statistics and charts for the A-League as well.
So Chantalab, who has 3 yellow cards to his name in his previous 10 games for Dandenong City this season. He's also found the back of the net 6 times. At one point was going at a goal a game, but that has since slowed down a little bit. The player plays a ball forward. He's left for Duganzic. Filipovic.
In the box, Charlie!
Duganzic whips the ball in, but it's just gone slightly too far. If you are a Dandenong City fan, that is, it's gone slightly too far, and it will be a goal kick for the visitors again. Frequent goal kicks taken by Bentleigh in this one. Bentleigh have been trying to play out from the back in this one. And maybe in contrast to Dandenong City, who are a bit more content to maybe look for the likes of Chantalab with long balls over the top, as once again we see them go short. But That time under pressure, Scott's forced to put his boot through it, but it's gone right to Thompson. Filipovic with an effort! Just goes wide. Took one touch to control it, did Sean Filipovic, after Thompson worked the ball across to him and just poke a leg out. And it was threatening.
Make sure you win it.
Good boy. Now.
Crooks loses the ball to Thompson. Tries to work the ball across the field, but he loses it. Straight back, it's well picked out. Now, chance for Mitrovic to run onto the ball, but Leia does well to marshal him away and allow Salchin to come away with it. Play forward, Nakamura getting chase. Has a chance to come back inside. Still with Nakamura, low shot. Comfortable collection for Salchin. And that should be a foul. Yep, we'll be coming back.
The ball's dropping to nobody there.
Sharon Alinejad, who gave away one of the penalties for Dandenong City last week, conceding the foul. The Greens will take it quickly and work it to Mitrovic on the left flank. Crooks makes the feinting run, but isn't rewarded. So it comes in to Lambadaridis. He's just forced to come back out to Ilic. Ilic floats the ball, or slides the ball in behind the defence for Mitrovic, but Mitrovic with the low cutback was looking for Matt Thurtell, but Salchin gets down low and collects.
Out! Shane! Out!
Yeah, I think if you're Bentleigh Greens, you'd be quite happy with the scoreline at the moment, given the amount of errors that they've made in this half. I mean, both teams have made plenty of errors, but I think the Greens particularly, given the quality that they do have on the park, you're a bit surprised. A lot of uncharacteristic mistakes being made, and I think Frank McGrellis and the rest of the coaching staff will be quite pleased with the scoreline at the moment, that, you know, Dandenong City haven't got an advantage, haven't gotten a lead, given how underwhelming the Greens have been.
Salchin puts his boot through it. Filipovic looking to get underneath it, falls over. Jankovic cleans up. His ball is headed straight back by Winnick, but Lambadaridis gets across. Lambadaridis to Mitrovic. Switches on, looking for Nakamura. He's making a run, giving chase, but Salchin is there. Bit too much on it, as Demir said. And it will be another goal kick.
Alright, Zaki.
Ball at the feet of Salchin. Looks as though he will boot this ball on. Pretty literally every outfield player encompassed in a 20 by 20 area in the middle of the park. Filipovic flicks it on, and we will get you an Around the Greens update.
So Oakley have equalised with Harry White cancelling out Marcus Schroin's early goal. Big news at the Grange Reserve. Kingston took an early 14-minute lead through Erhan Elad, and I guess they're now odds-on favourites to get all 3 points, given the fact that the Knights have gone down to 10 men. Now, Joey, I'm not too sure, but whoever that Knights player is that's been carded, sent off, does that mean he misses out on Wednesday night's clash against Adelaide United?
I believe it does actually mean that they will miss that clash. I know Melbourne City's youth side, who will be playing tomorrow, we're trying to get Mark Carlich, one of his games from his suspension, as counted as an FFA Cup game. So it stands to reason that means that that individual who got the red card would miss the game against Adelaide and a chance to shine on the national stage.
we'll wait to see who that person was. I actually might check the Knights' Twitter page because they're pretty good when it comes to their updates. Or if it was a controversial decision, I'm sure Knights' Twitter will be up in my arms about it already.
As it was controversial, the appeals process will already be in place as the Greens come forward, but that's a strong challenge, and now Dandenong City have a chance to break forward in transition. Filipovic, but he's going to go backwards with the ball and get it to Valeri. Valeri gets it to Linejad on the left flank. Begunjic clears out to make room for him. Linejad will whip the ball in, headed clear into that pocket of space. Arriving was McCormick, but the shot is blocked out. Cries for handball from the Dandenong City bench. Unmet by Adam Babkar.
Go, Zaki, go, Zaki!
Here, Sasha Ogmanovsky's complaints from the bench. They wanted a handball.
Do you want to try and guess who that Knights player who got sent off was?
For their sake, I hope it wasn't Hamish Watson.
It wasn't. It's a bit of an easy one if you know, if you do know who the hothead at the Melbourne Knights is.
Oh, go on, the Knights don't keep us in suspense.
Nikolai Jurkovic picked up his second yellow in the 35th minute and has been sent off.
2 yellows in 33 minutes with an FFA Cup game losing. That is an impressive effort. As Shantalab now gets himself on the ball. Unfamiliar position on the right flank. Gets it back to Thompson. Thompson back to Shantalab. Gunzic. Who has come over to the right flank after spending the predominant amount of the game on the left flank. But players coming back. Ball has been put out. Do we have... He's down on the... Somebody down on the turf? Did somebody throw something at the Mayor Sulchin? He's certainly annoyed. He's come all the way out. Oh no, there's a man down there on the left flank. You can see him now. Was camouflaged by the bollards, by the advertising boarding. Trying to see who's not up and about for Dandenong City. I think it might be Shayan Alinejad. Can't see him. Yeah, can't see him out and about with his teammates out here in the field. It's difficult to properly see from our position out here on the sideline. He's sitting up now, does Alinejad. It's a good sign.
If he has to come upstream to make sure Limo drops back,
Dandenong City have Samuel Cibotoire, Greg Lombardo, James Kelly and Anthony Polyak on the bench as outfield options. Stefan King, who started last week, is the backup goalkeeper. I'll tell you Bentleigh as well. Bentleigh's bench is Jacob Alexander, Charlie Fry, Josh Baresi, and the backup goalkeeper Michael Stark and Daniel Steins. Alinejad jogging back onto the surface. Looks as though he'll be right to continue. It's a bit of a break in the action there, allowing both sides to head over to the bench, get themselves a drink, maybe some technical instruction from Frank McGrellis and Sasha Ogdanovsky. But play can now resume with the ball at Salchin's feet. He will just go long with the ball. Chantalap trying to get underneath it. Still deep in the Greens half as they try to come away with it. They have manoeuvred themselves out well, but that path forward intended for Thurtell is cut out by Adrian Laya. Now Alinejad, his first touch since going down with the injury, and it's a long ball for Chantalap to give chase to. However, Jankovic does well to just use his body to take him out of the play in a fair manner. And now Alinejad has gone down in a tussle with Nakamura. Looked frustrated. Anabadkar is coming over to remonstrate with the pair. Consult with his linesman. Must admit I didn't see the initial contact of me, did you?
I only saw towards the end where I think Alinejad attempted to do a bit of a kick out on Nakamura, so I've only seen the end part of that, so I can't really comment on what happened there exactly, but Adam Babkar's taking some words from his assistant referee Mike Jar. He's going to call Alinejad, and you might actually give him a card here.
He's calling over both men, Nakamura and Alinejad. Maybe just to calm your farm to both individuals.
Come on, Adam!
Sergio Ognanovsky just wants play to get on with it. Dying stages of the first half here. Then we'll see want to get on with it.
Tell them that we need to go inside.
Now play will resume with the ball in the hands of Alinejad. But he's going to give it straight to the Greens. Bouncing around, neither side able to collect properly until the Greens will get it out to Crooks on the left. For Dimitrovic. He will look up and try to find Holmes, but it's picked out. Eventually Duganzic on the ball, and he'll try to thread it through for Chantalap. However, that ball is just headed away. Mitrovic has a bit of room to manoeuvre. Was looking for Lambadaridis, but it's just booted clear by Unmak. And we will have 2 minutes of additional time here. Perhaps not as much as you would expect, just 2 minutes to me.
It's quite cold, everyone wants to go inside.
Can't argue with that logic. The Greens again looking to try to build up from the back. And get the ball forward to Thurtell. Flick it out onto the right flank. Ball played over the top for Nakamura, who, if he can chase it down, has room. However, the Japanese import cannot chase it down. And the ball again will go forward to... Not go forward, the ball will fall for Salchin to clear. And once again we can see just all of the players for the Greens and Dandenong City all just casually strolling over to that one little cube in the middle of the park for the anticipated long ball out. See it go very, very long. Eventually it will be Thompson. Thompson will tee up an effort. What a goal from Zach Thompson! From out of nothing, just pure Route 1 football from Dandenong City. The long goal kick from Demir Salchin is knotted down. Zach Thompson is Mr. Johnny on the spot to Chester Town. Goes bang and puts it in a corner where Ryan Scott could not get across in time to clear it away, Demir.
Yeah, Paul's goals eat your heart out because Zach Thompson has just scored one of the goals of the season up there to give Dandenong City a deserved 2-1 lead heading into the break. I know they had a fantastic start to the game where they were a better team. Bentleigh equalised, but I think that they've shaded it over the course of these opening 45 minutes, and he's had a great season individually. Zach Thompson scored a few goals under his belt, and he scored another one there, which ends up being the last action of that first half.
Absolutely. So with the last kick of the half, Zach Thompson will restored Dandenong City's lead after they went ahead through a Sean Filipovic strike at the back post. The Greens were able to equalise from the spot through Matt Thurtell. But here at Frank Mollahan Soccer Complex, perhaps the horror run of form for the Bentleigh Greens continues, as after 45 minutes the score here is Dandenong City 2, Bentleigh Greens 1. Be sure to join us for the second half here on the NPL Victoria Facebook and YouTube channels for what should be a very entertaining second stanza.
He's on holiday.
On holiday?
Yeah, he's just gone. I don't know if he's gone to. I heard holidays, but I don't know what he's done. Maybe he's if
Next Dandenong City game is at Kingston City, Monday 19th of August. For those of you who are not aware, Monday 19th of August, 8:30 p.m. kickoff at Kingston Heath. And the last game of the season is Sunday 25th of August, 3 p.m. kickoff at Port Melbourne Sharks. So the last two games are away, 19th and 25th of August.
Test the testing microphone, the speak size and see tons of hot.
Greetings if you can hear me on the live stream, but test 1 2 1 2.
That's good. That's much better. So that's hitting on the bar.
Okay, cool.
So it should be alright.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, the last few weeks I think he's been on the bench. He has come back.
Because he reinjured himself against Danny City. Remember calling that game? Was I calling that? No, I think that was my first game doing.
I think you were, because I remember watching. It was an A-League game at the same time, so me and Davil were watching in the press conference, waiting for his Muskie to walk in. Yeah, that was last had the thing. Round 11 at Kingston Heath, 1-0 Valentino Euro with 33 minutes. That game left Dandenong City with only 4 points from 11 rounds. Welcome back to Endeavour Hills, Frank Holohan Soccer Complex here in Melbourne Southeast for NPL Victoria round 24 action between the Bentleigh Greens visiting Dandenong City. The score after 45 minutes was Dandenong City 2, Bentleigh Greens 1. Sean Filipovic opening the scoring for Hajduk before the equaliser from the spot was hammered in by Matt Thurtell, but then pretty much with the last kick of that half, Zach Thompson unloading from range to give his side the lead once again. My name is Joey Lynch. I'm joined here by Demir Kulash here as an analyst, and Demir, Dandenong City entering this half with a 2-1 lead. What do they do to ensure that they take the 3 points and ensure their safety at the end of the season?
Look, you have to be defensively solid, try not to concede again, but also put Bentleigh under the pressure that you were putting him for a good portion of that first half, where they looked really struggled under a lot of penetrative pressure from Dandenong City that forced them into a lot of errors. And what a goal to end the half there from Zach Thompson. I did mention to you that it was a perfect opportunity to unload into some Alan Partridge commentary. Wasn't to be, but I'm sure that will definitely make the highlights reel for the goals of the season.
Absolutely wasn't. Absolutely fantastic strike. Just taking a touch to bring the ball down and then unloading with that powerful right boot. Ryan Scott, who is no slouch, probably one of the better goalkeepers in NPL Victoria, trialled with the Newcastle Jets ahead of the 2018-19 A-League season. Had no chances. Now the Greens come forward. That ball is played in by Zidius towards the back post, but Ertel can't make proper contact with his left-footed effort, and it will be a goal kick to Demir Sulchin. So as Sulchin gets ready to take this one out, we will update you once again on some of the other big games happening around NPL Victoria.
Yeah, all the other games' progress scores haven't changed. So Oakley and South Melbourne are evenly poised at 1-0, with Harry White cancelling out Marcus Schroin's opener.
Nakamura here giving chase to Alinejad. Bundles him over and still gives chase, and Sulchin, discretion the better part of valor, and just boots the ball out.
And Kingston still leading a 10-man Melbourne Knights 1-0. Erhan Yellow is the goal scorer for the host. Nikolai Jurkovic picked up a second yellow card in the 34th minute to leave the Knights with a player less.
And if we are correct in our thinking, that means Jurkovic will miss Wednesday's FFA Cup encounter with Adelaide United, which promises to be an absolutely fantastic night at Summer Street. That ball is played in, and it's in the back of the net for Bentleigh Greens from the corner. Jack Webster coming forward for the set piece. Gets his head on the ball. It was chaotic and confusing in the box, but in the end, Webster getting his first goal of the season. And Demir, it's game on, 2-2.
Captain's goal from the Bentleigh Green skipper. Gets his side right back into it, and some laps marking at the back there from Dandenong City as Webster heads in his first of the campaign. It's a good delivery in there by Mitrovic, who gets another assist. And we're back level here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex.
So as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Bentleigh Greens mathematically not eliminated from pursuit of the Premier's plate. In general, you would say Heidelberg and Avondale the favourites, but the Greens may be thinking perhaps they would like to have something to say about that. But Lambertaritis there has turned the ball over. And Unmak will just boot the ball forward, giving Filipovic a task of chasing it down. Nakamura on the ball. Plays it back. Makes another run for Sidious. Eventually Sidious feeds him and continues his run forward. Nakamura puts a low cross in. Thurtell eventually gets to it and plays it back to Nakamura. Nakamura just comes under pressure from Alinejad, but he'll recollect himself. Sidious twisting and turning. No avenue to goal. Eventually it's just played in but booted clear, and then the follow-up effort from Mitrovic is again blocked. It was Holmes that had tried to play that ball in. Now Crooks on the ball. Played across the field to Ilic. To Jankovic. He'll play the long ball for Thurtell, and he'll just play the ball back, but he did get it back to Lambertaritis, but the flag from the linesman had gone up.
So you can clear the fucking thing.
Apologies to kids in cars if that came across the microphone, but snuffing out the Bentleigh attack was that offside. And now Dandenong coming forward. Ball is played in. Chantalab was waiting, and I think that was actually a header from Webster. But thankfully Ryan's got aware, and that probably, well, it was an almost picture-perfect headed attempt on goal, but unfortunately for Webster, he's a defender. But luckily no embarrassment for Bentleigh as now they come forward again. Nakamura is offside. Straight offside there. He had a lot of room to work with on the right flank. Couldn't time his run. Nakamura lauded by Magrelis midweek in an interview with Neos Cosmos as one of the two players Bentleigh actually secured in the mid-season window that have become regular starters for the side. The other one was Mario Ilic.
Good to hear that you're buying your weekly copy of Neos Cosmos and supporting print journalism.
Yes. No, I did read it online, I would admit, but I make sure to take my ad block off for all the news websites I visit. Do a fine job covering the Hellenic sides down here in Victoria, do Neos Cosmos. If you ever want to know what's happening with any of those sides, they are an excellent port of call. I believe they've got actually a reporter down here tonight as well. So
yeah, George Stajanu, and you've also got Alekos, who I think is their sports editor. So they do, as you said, a terrific job providing comprehensive coverage of Victoria's top flight and leagues below.
Now Matej Duganzic and Zach Thompson standing over this ball for Dandenong City. Men waiting in the middle. Adrian Leyer has come forward. Ball is delivered in. Chantalab just had the chance, maybe if he'd perhaps lunged or been a bit quicker off the mark, to turn the ball in. Instead a let off for Bentleigh, perhaps that Chantalab isn't as sprightly as he used to be. But now they'll come forward again through Sidious. Thurtell tries to flick it on. Can only find Thompson. Valeri. Nakamura giving chase. Thurtell as well. Alinejad just skies that. Holmes getting underneath it. And he did get underneath it, but then he came down straight on top of Liam McCormick, and it is a free kick for Dandenong City. Taken quickly. Duganzic giving chase. Duganzic. Ooh, was dipping there. It would have been an absolutely spectacular goal. Maybe some Alan Partridge commentary had he scored, but just couldn't get it to come back down.
Yeah, it would have been rolling back the years had he scored that one. Mate Duganzic, who probably still holds a defeat for scoring the most unusual Melbourne derby goal for Melbourne Heart all those years ago in that 4-0 romper Mel victory, where his cross-come shot ended up in the back of the net, surprising Lawrence Thomas, who was deputising in goal for Nathan Coe, who actually finds himself on the visiting Bentleigh Greens bench as goalkeeper coach tonight.
Duganzic. Also no stranger to the Croatian sides in NPL Victoria. Started his career with the Melbourne Knights, debuting as a 16-year-old. Now playing with Dandenong City at the tail end of his career.
Hopefully the St Albans crowd don't lynch you for that, because he did actually begin his junior career at St Albans Saints. I'll just mention that to appease everyone.
Did he play a senior game for the Saints?
No.
There we go.
They do have his jersey on their in their club hall, so I'm sure that counts something.
I'm probably going to stop now before I annoy anybody else. We'll get back to the play coming forward through Bentleigh. Mitrovic twisting and turning, can't find a teammate. Now a chance for Dandenong City to come through with Shantalab. Duganzic making a run into the middle. Ball finds him, he takes a touch. Just strong defence getting back, but the danger not cleared. Filipovic, his shot is blocked. Duganzic with another shot, plays it in. Just wide from Liam McCormick. Trying to just snake a left-footed effort inside that post and goes centimetres wide, Demir. Could have been 3-2 to Dandenong City.
Yeah, it would have been a very well-worked team goal from Dandenong City, with Duganzic and McCormick doing quite well there to combine. But the finish just eluded McCormick, who would have loved to have scored against his former club, but it wasn't to be that time.
Forward play forward for Nakamura, but Sidious is aware and makes another forward run. Sidious still with the ball. And that cross goes high. And the Bentleigh Greens right back gets a bit of feedback from his teammates after that one.
Yeah, disappointing end product from a player who I think has been exceptional once more this campaign. He's been at the Greens, I think this is his third season, and since coming across from Mel Victory Youth, and I think Sidious is one of the best young players in this competition, particularly at fullback, where I think that, you know, if you're an A-League club and if you want a good young fullback that has the potential to really develop into a good professional over a number of seasons, I think Sidious is definitely one player to watch.
That ball is knotted over the top. Shantalab giving chase, but Jankovic just with a last second boot to put the ball out for a corner. Of course, this time last year, Sidious and Bentleigh Greens as a whole were enjoying their own FFA Cup exploits, knocking A-League side Wellington Phoenix out of the Cup, claiming their first A-League scalp. This year, however, in a rarity for the side, observers come the round of 32, not qualifying. And the corner is delivered in for Dandenong City. Double-fisted punch from Scott. Larry collects back to Alinejad, who just loop a ball over the top. It's headed away, and now the Greens have a chance to break forward quickly in transition. It's Crooks. Crooks still with the ball, coming inside the area, cutting inside onto his left foot, but he's going to play all the way back to Illich. Illich then finds Sidious. Sidious with another ball in, and again it goes long. Now on the left, playing for the Greens. Lambadaridis. He'll play back. Illich will wind up. And in the end, he didn't sky the ball, as we have seen a few times in this game. He kept the height right, just couldn't quite get it on the right trajectory.
Yeah, direction was lacking there from Mario Illich, who I think is still searching for his first goal for the Bentleigh Greens, the central midfielder who, as you mentioned, came across from Team Wellington midway through the campaign and did actually go international at the end of last campaign by playing for Team Wellington in the Club World Cup.
Duganzic on the ball, working against Sidious, who has a fair grab of his arm, but referee ways play on. And now Sidious picks out Valeri's pass, but then his pass in turn is cut out by McCormick. McCormick gets the ball to Shantalab. Shantalab fighting with Jankovic. Comes back out to McCormick. Valeri. Duganzic. Taking his time, eventually gets the ball in. He's looking for Filipovic, but it just sails over the Dandenong City stalwart's head and into the arms of Scott. And Webster put his side level with his headed effort early in the second half. Tries to play the ball forward. However, Nakamura can't control it. Lenijad, ball in his hands, steals a few extra metres. And then Babkar lets him take them. Gets it forward eventually to Filipovic. Webster defending him. And it's going to be a Bentleigh Greens throw-in, much to the disgust of Sean Filipovic.
You can make a decision too, yeah?
Who scored his third goal in 2 weeks earlier in this contest.
Sorry?
Battle in there. Filipovic eventually comes away with the ball. Works the ball through to Chantalab, but that's quickly taken away by Tyson Holmes. And Tyson Holmes will spring Bentleigh forward in transition, getting them forward quickly. Still coming forward are Bentleigh. And she comes out to Mitrovic. Mitrovic twists and turns and eventually has a shot, but it's blocked away. Crooks gives chase, but eventually gives away the free kick. Does the former Brisbane Roar and Adelaide United youth player.
One of the few players to be playing down here in Victoria who hails from the Northern Territory, if I stand to be corrected.
Now McCormick. Let's put the ball out onto the right flank for Duganzic. He'll look for Chantalab in the middle, but it's cleared away. Valeri, however, will collect and look to refocus his side. Gets it across to Leia. Leia continues his run. Rare attacking areas for the centre-back. But his attempted cross-in is cleared away by Matt Thurtell, doing some rare defensive work, and Matt Thurtell has gone down with a copped a knock in an area that no individual wants to cop a knock in.
Crown Jewels.
Yes, sympathy from Leia there, immediate and obvious. Now the corner comes in, headed clear. Whoa! Carl Valeri almost doing something absolutely spectacular there outside of the boot effort, but meanwhile Filipovic has gone down with a blow to the head. Immediately the substitution signal is made towards the Dandenong City bench. That's not what we want to see after a head injury. We hear Mate Duganzic heading over to the bench saying that he's fine, he just got cut. Apparently, according to Duganzic, the trainer just went sub straight away because he saw blood. One of the benefits of our position here, we can eavesdrop in on the benches.
One of those players is an expert. One of those individuals is an expert. So I'd probably take the doctor's advice if I was at Dandenong City, but you know, it's one of those things where I think understanding of head injuries isn't probably still the best.
What's the immortal line, Demir? I'm not a doctor, mate.
Shout out to Vince Ricari.
It's the second time I've been able to do that this week, as I do believe we have a goal around the grounds, or there was an update on the loudspeaker there from around the ground, so we'll try to bring that to you if there has been. Oh God, looks like it's all happening.
3 goals in 7 minutes from the Oakley Cannons to lead 4-1 against South Melbourne. So just repeating that score, Oakley Cannons 4, South Melbourne 1.
Comes in towards the back post in the direction of Topalovic, but Scott with a strong collection. Ball intended for Nakamura is picked out by Cheyenne Alinejad. But now Duganzic has gone down. Just pointing maybe to the hamstring. Duganzic not as young as he used to be. And it is a very, very cold night out here in Melbourne southeast. Or perhaps maybe just some veteran dark arts instincts to slide the play up. Back out to Webster. Plays the ball forward for Tyson Holmes, who will then get it across to Crooks. Illich. He's just forced to go back to Yankovic. Webster outside the boot effort to Nakamura. Nakamura coming inside. He'll put a ball across the middle, and that's a diving header from Matt Thurtell, just put away by Damir Sulchin. Excellently worked by the Greens to produce a fine-headed effort.
Yeah, it's a fantastic save there from Damir Sulchin. We saw one great save at this end of town through Ryan Scott. Damir Sulchin does well there as Filipovic comes back on.
Sulchin punches the ball away, comes straight back in, however, and then Damir Sulchin, who answered the call from Dandenong City, coming out of retirement midway through the season, collects, and he will wait and allow his side to get forward and eventually just boot the play long, giving the now heavily bandaged Filipovic something to chase. Holmes is forced to go back to his defence to circumnavigate Shantalab, but now they will eventually get the ball through. Lambadaridis plays the ball across the middle, but there's nobody waiting there. Mitrovic can only just watch it roll over the line for a goal kick. Once again, all 20 outfield players bunch up in this tiny little box in the middle of the field as they await Sulchin's long goal kick out. And it's a very long goal kick. This time, however, no chance for the Dandenong City to knock it down for another Zach Thompson wonder strike. Instead, ball put out for a throw-in. Another on by Duganzic, played into the area possibly for Filipovic, but it's gone over his head and he will be forced to give chase to keep this in. Which he does so, just. Plays it across to Valeri. McCormick. McCormick cheeky little outside the boot effort to Duganzic. Duganzic tries to get a left-footed effort in. Cries for handball, is waved away, and then Duganzic goes down. Immediately waved away by Adam Babcock. And then he's right in front of the grandstand behind the goals here at Frank Holohan. So Babcock hears it from the Hajduk faithful. Goal kick taken quickly by Scott. Out there on the left flank now of Greens. Illich. Mitrovic. Holmes. Holmes just plays it backwards and eventually floats it through for Lambadaridis. Back to Holmes, but Holmes gives it straight to Cheyenne Alinejad. Valeri comes under immediate pressure from Lambadaridis, but he's still on the ball. Tries to play a 1-2 with Filipovic. It's cleared away, but Valeri has won a free kick. Scores are tied here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. Filipovic putting Dandenong City ahead. Matt Thurtell answering back from the spot for Bentleigh, and then with the last kick of the first half, Zach Thompson goes bang with his 5th of the season. And in the second, Jack Webster equalising with a header from a corner. So now Thompson will just float that ball over to the right flank, looking for Leia, who's again came forward.
Shane, how you going?
Unmac does well to give chase and eventually wins his side. A free kick does a throw-in does the teenager. Filipovic back to Unmac. Unmac delivers a ball in. Santalab tries to get a cheeky little poke on it. McCormick underneath it, but it's cleared away instead by Bentleigh. Unmac giving chase. Unmac doing well. Ball is still floating around there. Webster eventually gets across it and just boots the ball long. Thurtell can only watch it go out for a throw-in. Thurtell and the referee Adam Babcock hearing it from those Dandenong City fans assembled on the hill across from the broadcast position. Chance for Bentleigh to get something going down the left flank here. Men arriving in the middle. Lambadaridis cuts in on his left boot as his shot blocked by Duganzic. Unmac gives chase to keep it in, which he does so. Cries for handball ignored, and it will be a throw-in for Unmac on that attacking right flank of Dandenong. Game somewhat slowing down here, Demir. Maybe the energy's going out of it a little bit, you'd say?
Yeah, look, it's not the most high stakes fixtures, given the fact that both teams are, one's assumably assured survival, the other one's assured, you could say, a final spot. So it's not, hustle and bustle, as we see Sasha Ognovsky just giving a comment out there to Adam Babka about the way the players have been talking to him. So I'd still say there's quite a bit of fire in this, so it's really, I think, one of those situations where it's a case of next goal wins.
Duganzic trying to deliver that next goal, but he's completely sliced that effort off his right boot, and it will sail closer to the corner flag than the goals. Goal kick to Ryan Scott. Marko Jankovic walking over and just happy to let his goalkeeper play ball boy. Jankovic, another one of the heroes for Bentleigh Greens in their FFA Cup run last year, a run that went all the way to the semi-finals for the second time in the club's history. Sidious there competing for it, but it's won by McCormick, but Duganzic's attempted pass back goes out. Holmes plays the ball across the field to Crooks. Chance for Bentleigh to attack once again on this left flank. Shot comes in, but it's well shaved by Salchin. It was Velibor Mitrovic cutting inside from the left onto his right boot, Demir, and letting loose with a fierce effort from range.
Yeah, he's got a shot on him, Velibor Mitrovic, and he probably just didn't have enough power there to trouble Damir Salchin, who, spectacular save, went out for a corner kick. It's another set-piece opportunity here as Mitrovic swings the corner in.
Punched away by Salchin. Not Sidious, it was Holmes that kept it in, and now Sidious is on the ball, but he loses it. It's Valeri's challenge. And the Greens will be forced to go all the way back to Ryan Scott once again. It's a long ball forward, headed back out by Steven Topalovic. 73 minutes gone here at Frank Holohan. Scores locked at 2-2. Unmac. Unmac has continued his run, and that ball will be played over the top, looking for the teenager. Strong defending from the Greens, however, to put the ball out.
Yeah, first change coming here for Dandenong City, where James Kelly, former Bentleigh Greens attacker who appeared for the Greens last season, is coming on for Sean Filipovic.
Filipovic netting the first goal for Dandenong City, following on from his brace last week.
Coming off number 12, Sean Filipovic.
Exiting the frame, battered and bruised, is Filipovic. Went down with that head injury. Bandaged up. Asks his teammate, James Kelly, to give him hell as he exits the fray. And James Kelly, who is a well-built player, comes immediately into the area for this long throw-in, and he will vie for an immediate touch. Instead, it's headed away. But on these files, Valeri, who flicks it onto this right flank. Another comes in for Kelly, but this time Kelly's does get a touch on it, but his shot goes wide. Almost a perfect introduction for James Kelly, who has scored 4 times this season for Hajduk. Scott informing his side that he wants them to get up higher. City is moving forward, and eventually Scott tries to find him. McCormick gets across to head the ball forward to Gunzic. Cheeky outside of the boot effort, looking for Shantalab. Shantalab gives chase and just puts the ball over the bar. That was almost a picture-perfect goal from Dandenong City. Would have gone down as perhaps the assist of the season with that outside of the boot effort from Duganzic. But just over the bar is now the danger not cleared as McCormick picks it out, and again Duganzic. That time his left-footed effort is nowhere near as pretty as his last attempt, and the Greens will clear. Vertel working against the Parlovic. Valeri comes away with the ball. Plays the ball forward to nobody in particular, however. Sidious. He's got room to manoeuvre if he wants it. Instead, he'll just slow the play up and play it back to Webster. Well, that was Holmes, not Sidious. Sidious now playing the ball forward for Nakamura. Duganzic receiving instructions on the sideline from Oganovsky. Sidious plays the ball forward in the direction of Thurtell, who nodded it down, but then Zach Thompson getting across the boot, the ball clear to Kelly. Kelly was well marshalled by Crooks, but he'll come again. Tries to come over Shantalab, however, a bit of sloppy play there. Actually, the ball is played forward for Nakamura. He'll cut inside. Thurtell tries to flick it on. Parlovic not having a bar of it, and eventually wins his side a throw-in. Throw it intended for Shantalab. It's headed away by Sidious. McCormick. Thompson. Back to McCormick. Tries to spin move. He's fighting for the ball, and eventually Thompson comes away with the ball. He'll play it in looking for Shantalab. Headed clear. Shantalab will get another bite of the cherry. Holmes then comes in to steal the ball away, and Shane Linajad will just push Nakamura from behind and then prevent the quick free kick. Probably good for his side because Sidious had acres of space to run into on the right flank. Instead, Marko Jankovic will have the ball and then play back to Jack Webster. Flicks it on for Sidious. Sidious now has a chance to run down the right flank. Delivers the ball in. Cheeky back heel from Thurtell is blocked. Dandenong City players collide with each other. Cue the cartoon sound effects as Dandenong City come away. Valeri attempting to dink a ball over the top for Duganzic, but it goes long.
Yeah, it was a great forward run there by Sidious, who latched onto the pass there by, I think it was Nakamura, and again, probably one of those ones where the delivery wasn't that bad as he cops an elbow there from Valeri.
City is still down on the turf. Ryan Scott coming out from his area to remonstrate with Adam Babkar.
Back here, Adam.
Liam McCormick did have some choice words with him that probably burned down to get back in your box, amongst other things. But now Tyson Holmes, 2018 gold medalist. Cleared by Dandenong, but then Crooks will attempt to play the greens forward again. Mitrovic. His cross, however, is deflected out. Now with time ticking away here at Frank Holohan will once again go around the grounds.
Yeah, no change to the scores. We see it's corner taken in by Mitrovic.
No doing for the Greens.
Going back to those scores, as I said, they remain unchanged since the last time we checked in. But just to repeat it for you, Oakley Cannons lead 4-1 against South Melbourne, having scored 3 goals in the second half in a 7-minute spell. And Kingston City still hold a 1-0 advantage, despite being a man up since the 34th minute when Nikola Jurkovic received its marching orders for a second yellow card.
So it appears as though in that contest between the Cannons and South Melbourne, it will be ex-South Melbourne coach and now Oakley Cannons coach Chris Taylor having the last laugh. 3 points to the Cannons there would also all but certainly seal our top 6 and consign South Melbourne to another year without finals football at Lakeside Stadium.
Ref, sub! Ref! Hang on, guys, hang on, through us first. Oh, sorry.
And as we see Dandenong City preparing to make another change, it will be Anthony Polyak coming on.
Not yet.
It will be Shantalab coming off.
Substitution 3. Number 11 coming off.
There's a hold up. There we go. Now the formalities are observed by the officials and Polyak will enter the fray for Shantalab. Will be a corner for Dandenong. Scott unable to keep it in.
Can I just say, I did predict 2-2 at the start of the game, so far it's looking good, but Dandenong City set piece opportunity here, a good chance to get some of that tall timber down forward with Leia and Topalovic, the set piece targets.
Both central defenders inside the area. Kelly making a run as well. And that corner is immediately headed away, but Polyak will try to play it back. Thompson swinging a boot at it. For no contact. Pavlovic puts a left-footed cross in. And Dandenong City have the lead, and it's Zach Thompson with his second goal, with the unlikely assist from Stephen Topalovic. He didn't give up on the play, did the centre-back. Got down onto that left flank and delivered it in, and then just twisting and turning, Zach Thompson swung a boot at it and put it in the back of the net to give his side a 3-2 lead.
I don't think we've seen a better brace of goals by a player this season in NPL Victoria than from what we've seen tonight from Zach Thompson. He gave his side a crucial 2-1 lead heading into the break with the last kick of the first half. He might have just scored the winner there. It's a fantastic goal by the Englishman. Great lead-up work there by Topalovic, who persevered, didn't give up on it, and Dandenong City have ultimately been rewarded. Let's see what Bentleigh can muster up in response.
So Bentleigh have produced 2 equalisers so far in this game, but with the game in its dying stages now, do they have what it takes to potentially find another equaliser? As we said at the top of the broadcast, mathematically not eliminated here, but with just 6 minutes of regulation time remaining, if they want to keep alive any hopes of the Premier's Plate, they need to find one and then probably another. As Polyak there tried to cheeky little flick up past the defenders, was pleading for a handball. Didn't receive one. And the Greens will come away with it. Holmes dancing through the Dandenong lines, and then he'll play a ball over the top, looking for Thurtell, but Thurtell, even if he had got a boot on it, wouldn't have been able to advance it with it, as he was offside. Holmes dancing through there with the ball. He's also been with South Melbourne as well as Bentleigh Greens, but has experience in the southeast because as a teenager, Tyson Holmes spent time with Frankston Pines.
Back in their VPL days in the mid-noughties.
So, long time NPL Victoria figure, VPL figure is the 31-year-old. On one occasion, Kelly looking to get forward, but he can't make proper contact with the ball, and Ryan Scott will boot his side clear. Mitrovic. Now there's been a bit of a flashpoint there on the wing, but play continues on. Mitrovic giving chase to try to keep it in. Does so. He'll play to Illich. Quick check of his surroundings, but then probably not enough checking because Kelly steals the ball away. Polyak back to Kelly. Kelly still going. Still with Kelly. Eventually he loses the ball. And the Greens will come forward. Nakamura. Nakamura still with it. Mitrovic. Illich looks for the switch. Instead he goes to Webster. Now Zidius. Zidius still on the ball. Just puts a ball cross in, but it's just only going to find the top of the goals and go out for a goal kick, as we see Josh Baresi, who scored 3 times this season, only making his 11th appearance on the team sheet after suffering a pretty bad injury earlier in the season. He'll enter the fray here for Mario Illich, Demir.
He actually relapsed injury-wise in the reverse fixture between these two teams, where he came on in the second half from a few weeks on the injury sidelines, and he immediately re-injured himself, forcing Bentleigh to finish the game with 10 men.
Jankovic plays it across again to Webster. We've seen Bentleigh try to play out from the back throughout this game, but with time ticking away, perhaps not many options as Baresi plays the ball down for Zidius. Zidius tries to get a left-footed effort off, but it's cleared away. Dugandzic now dances past the challenge of Zidius, but his follow-up effort is just kind of whiffed on. And Valeri, clever back heel from the veteran. Kelly competing for it, tries to win the header to come down for a 50-50, but nobody wants it other than Jankovic. Jankovic plays it forward to Webster, who in turn plays it even further up onto the left flank for Mitrovic. He's cutting inside onto his right boot until he falls for Lambertaridis. Lambertaridis has his shot blocked. And just unable to time his run is James Kelly. Had an easy one-on-one had he perhaps delayed a second earlier. Not doing however, we see the Bentleigh Greens getting set to make another substitution. It will be Jacob Alexander entering the fray.
Adam, 2 subs. Limo. For Limo. You come out wide.
So Alexander coming on for Nakamura.
Yeah, so that forces, as we see, Dugandzic come off for Greg Lombardo as Dandenong City put an extra man in defence to protect his lead. So with Jacob Alexander left back coming on for Futa Nakamura, the attacker, that forces Bentleigh into a reshuffle where Alexander goes to left back, Crooks goes from left back to right back, and Zidius goes from right back to right wing.
And a chance for Zidius to get something going in his newly found right back role, but Sharon Alinejad more than up to the challenge, and he'll come away with the ball. Actually play it forward, however there's nobody there. Pulling out, giving chase, and able to get there properly. Zidius forced to play the ball back in the middle of the field for Holmes. Holmes will switch the play to the left flank to Alexander. Early touch now for him since coming on. Strong defending will prevent Alexander from getting anything into the area. And eventually it will be a Dandenong City throw-in. Excellent defending. So we are pretty much done with the 45 minutes here in the second stanza. Just extra time remaining. Fourth official getting ready to raise his banner to indicate, and it will be 4 minutes. 4 minutes of added time here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. 4 more minutes for Dandenong City to hold out.
Officials indicated there's 4 minutes of extra time.
Jankovic taking quick throw in. Bentleigh need to get something going quickly if they are to find another equaliser here. If they are to somehow overturn Filipovic's early goal, and then a magnificent brace from Zach Thompson. Long throw in for Baresi, but Baresi just can't overcome the Dandy defence. It will be a goal kick for Demir Salchin, and you imagine that the Dandenong City veteran goalkeeper will take his sweet time with putting this ball out. She goes long, McCormick looking to get under it, but it's headed forward by Webster. Like it for Thurtell, but it's just picked out and then booted long. Kelly giving chase. However, Webster marshals him. He wins his side a goal kick, which you imagine Ryan Scott will take quickly, which he does, getting it straight back to Jack Webster. Webster will just go long looking for Thurtell. Headed clear. And then forward headed on. It's McCormick now. He will head it on. Stolen away though by the Greens. Neither side able to really string together a series of passes. Thurtell unable to chase it down as Topalovic just watches it roll over the line for a goal kick. We've done 2 minutes of injury time here. Time ticking away.
Get up! Get up!
Long kick out once again. Sails over everybody's head and falls to Kelly. He'll get it to Polyak, and then Polyak will just spread the play out to the right to Thompson. It's gone long, however, and it's immediately played forward by the Greens. Mitrovic, though, can't keep the ball in. There will be another chance for Dandenong City to steal seconds off this clock and protect their lead. Long throw in. It's headed straight back and then just booted forward. Sidious can't get up high enough, and Alinejad comes away with the ball. Sidious quickly on the spot to defend. That's going to be a free kick against Alinejad for a shirt pull. And perhaps a yellow card for booting the ball away. No, he's going to get away with that one. And Babcock keeping his cards in the pocket.
It's still moving! It's still rolling!
Alexander boots the ball forward. Headed back out by Unmak. Poor touch. There's Valeri to nip in. Jacob Alexander kept going, but he's just put the ball out for a throw in to Hajduk. McCormick ambling over to take it. Got Anthony Polyak up the line. James Kelly up there as well. Both give chase. Michael Jankovic. Well, it doesn't matter. The score here at full time, Dandenong City 3, Bentleigh Greens 2, and that does mean that with the 3 points, we will be seeing Dandenong City in NPL Victoria in 2020. After looking at as though their spot in the top flight was in a very perilous position mid-season, Dandenong City rallying throughout the second half of the season, and now with the win will remain. For the Bentleigh Greens, their horror run of form continues towards the end of the season. Dandenong City took the lead through Sean Filipovic, responded from the spot for the Greens from Matt Thurtell, and then Zach Thompson with a brace. His first with the last kick of the first half, an absolute banger from range. Was answered by Jack Webster, but then in the dying stages of the contest, Thompson's second does enough to earn his side to 3 points. Demir, was it a deserved win for Dandenong in the end?
You'd probably say yes. They had that chance just before that third goal where Shantala really should have scored, and they probably had the better of proceedings tonight, Dandenong City. So a deserved win. Both teams had the chances. It was going to be a high-scoring game. Bentleigh were under par once again. I think that's something that they need to fix up quickly. They do have a week off next week, so some more time on the training ground probably is needed to get rid of these lapses of concentration and poor form that they've been under, because they want to be fit and firing for finals football.
Absolutely. Well, as we said earlier, here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex, Dandenong City, Hajduk securing their place in the top flight next season. The final score here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex, Dandenong City 3, Bentleigh Greens 2. I've been Joey Lynch. I've been joined tonight on commentary by Demir Kulash. Thank you, Demir, for joining me. Be sure to tune in throughout the rest of the season and the finals campaign in NPL Victoria on the NPL Victoria Facebook and YouTube pages. But for now, goodbye.
Good stuff.
Cheers, mate.
Good stuff, guys. Are you going to do any interviews?